Good morning. There's a lot of excitement in here today. This is one of my favorite services. My name is Laura Caputo, and I am a member of the parish board here at First Church. I want to welcome everyone this morning. It's good to be together, and we are so glad you're here. As usual, we have a few announcements before we get started. Today we have our annual picnic and salad extravaganza. So that will follow today's service just right outside. And we want to thank Michael Griffin and the whole fellowship committee for pulling this together. It's a wonderful celebration for a year full of fun, connecting, joyful events. They've done such a wonderful job this year on everything. Starting next Sunday and continuing all summer long, we will have summer worship services at 10 a.m. in the parish hall in the crisp, cool air conditioning every week. We hope to see you there. And if you can help out with ushering, let Alex know. There will be childcare and wonderful music in addition to great guest worship leaders every week, so do come by. And then in the fall, we have Sandy Island. So that will be Friday, September 18th through Sunday the 20th. Sign-ups are open. So grab your place while there's still space. It's a wonderful way to connect with old friends and make new ones. And it's great for folks of all ages, single folks, families, really anyone. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask around. Raise your hand if you have been to Sandy Island. Excellent. So for those of you who have questions, you can turn to anyone there who just raised their hand and ask a little more about what that's all about. And there is so much more, so be sure to check out our website and our weekly newsletter, The Unitarian, for more information. And always feel free to ask any questions. So for now, let's take a deepening breath and arrive in this beautiful place, surrounded by this abundant love. Come, let us worship together.
Please join me in saying, life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift. Now, please rise in body or in spirit to sing opening hymn number 347, Gather the Spirit.
everyone. So happy to see you. I am Reverend Martha Durkee Newman. I am your Assistant Minister for Lifespan Faith Formation. I am so excited to invite all of you to this multi-generational celebration of our youth who are coming of age. Our children and youngest folks, you are invited to stay for this worship. You can play quietly over there, be in the pews, or go downstairs to the nursery. Wherever you are is good. This morning, congregation, you will have an opportunity to hear the Credo statements or faith reflections from our 9th grade youth. This is a tradition that happens all over the country and all over the world. In many spiritual and religious traditions, youth have an opportunity to come of age, often sometime between the ages of 12 and 16. From confirmation to bar bat mitzvah, young people are often asked to either proclaim or dedicate themselves to a particular faith or a particular creed. In Unitarian Universalism, we do things a little bit differently. We do everything a little bit differently. We affirm that each one of us, our young people, and each one in our congregation is on our own free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Each one of us is ultimately responsible for encountering the world as the people that we are and figuring out what is true for us and what is true at large, and then telling each other what we see. We affirm that what each one of us knows about God is a piece of the truth, and that our truth is incomplete without each one of our truths. So we invite our youth in the 9th grade to spend a year in contemplation, in study, in reflection, in community with one another, with texts, with ethical and theological questions, in dialogue with each other, and journeying with the accompaniment of adult mentors from the community. You will see these mentors appear today in worship. At the end of the year of study that they have completed, we invite these youth to prepare a statement of faith, whatever that may look like, something that captures where they're at in their journey with what they believe, however that might mean to them, and present it to this gathered body. It is an honor for us to receive these reflections from these young people. In this community, we are invited to bear witness to them, to affirm them, and to know what it is true that they tell us is ours to hold. So, as you listen to these credos today, I invite you to think about your own religious and spiritual exploration and identity. What are the beliefs that ground you? What are the values that are important to you? What it is in the world that you hold dear? So in the spirit of that curiosity and celebration, we invite you into this worship.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Stefan Frank, and I had the pleasure to accompany this coming-of-age group throughout the church here. It has been a great joy to get to know them a little and learn from them. I have been involved in youth work at this church for a little bit under 20 years. And it is because I think giving our youth nurture, challenge, and a sense of radically inclusive community is among the most important contributions we can add to society. When I asked the youth coordinator 20 years ago, that was Bev Gillette, whether she would need help with youth, she asked me one question. Will you find it interesting to listen to a 14-year-old? When I said, of course, I was hired. This question reflects very well why I do like spending time with youth, especially with the 8th and 9th grade age groups. Because this is an age where their youth has already developed depth and complexity, but they have very little occasion to express that among adults beyond their parents. And as we all know, parents don't count. I do find this depth and complexity so interesting because it's not yet labeled, organized, and aligned with common models of thinking and spirituality. It's raw, it's genuine, and thus challenges us. And isn't that why all of you are here today? This group did not disappoint. They were up for every discussion, from the last episode of Heated Rivalry to models for the existence of God. I want to call out one particular moment that left an impression on me. As part of some exercise, we asked them about their favorite grade at school. They nearly universally answered every grade before COVID. This made me realize again how this particular generation had to grapple with such a fundamental societal trauma at an age where their sense of community and society was still forming. So it is even more important for our church to model an empathic community to help this generation fight the loss of togetherness and community that COVID seems to have triggered. They have a very unique understanding of this. And as we are speaking of community, one of the reasons why I stay active in church, even now my kids have left the church, is that church is one of the few communities in life that is truly multi-generational. It's not just that people of many ages are in the same room. It's also that we listen to each other and then we work with each other. I worked with this particular group of kids, I worked on audio in musicals. I talked about sex and how. I talked about God or not, right? And I thank you guys for these discussions. Because this multi-generational experience totally goes both ways, and I don't want to miss the time with you guys. So I wish you all the best. Let's start sharing these discussions with the whole congregation.
Writing about what I believe in was kind of difficult for me because I think many of my peers, don't entirely know what I believe in. I don't think it's as simple as there is a God, or there isn't. I think that God is something more nuanced. Rather than being the more traditional Christian idea of an all-powerful, human-resembling guy who created life. But I also think that a God in some form or capacity makes a lot of sense. I'm just not really sure how that works. But for me, religion or spirituality has never been about worshiping a God. In fact, religion or spirituality isn't something I would think of as a big part of my life. For me, church has been more about community than prayer. And for me, the way I act isn't inspired by the love of a God or anything like that. I don't feel motivated to do good things because I think it would please God. But if it does, fantastic, good for me. I believe that doing the right thing is more than that. I think it needs to be built on strong morals, and morals need to be built on strong morals, if that makes sense. I don't think it's quite as black and white as believing in deontology or utilitarianism, but I do think overall it is better to have rules and duties and to follow your rules and duties than to just bumble around with no plan and hope everything works out. But at the same time, I think as life progresses, I think for a lot of people priorities change. And because of this, I don't think it's realistic to completely stick to a set of rules. One thing in my life that is very important is ultimate frisbee. I've played for many years and on several teams. One thing that one of my coaches has said many times is something like this. If somebody is open and you have the frisbee, you throw it to them. You just got it. If you mess up, maybe the throw didn't quite get to them, they didn't quite catch it. That's all right. Some things are beyond your control. You have to make the right decision and throw to the open person. I think this is applicable in more than just frisbee. In life, you make good choices, and sometimes it doesn't work out, and some things are beyond your control. This is the only thing I would think stays relatively constant in my belief. It might manifest in different ways, but I can't imagine myself rejecting my morals and making good choices to encourage my peers and protect the people I love and respect. But I think this is probably where my constant beliefs will change. One thing I believe now that could change one day, who knows, is something I'm going to call realistic optimism. Generally, pessimistic people are just trying to be realistic, which is completely fair, I get that. But they're also being pessimistic, which is sort of sad. So, as a solution to this, I believe that it is necessary to be optimistic to keep my morale up, but also to keep things realistic. An example of this is my belief that human beings are good. I don't believe we are inherently anything, really, but I do believe that we are good. That's the optimistic side of that. The realistic side of this is that I believe that while humans are good, we also have the capacity to do harm. Other than these beliefs, try to do good, follow moral rules and justice, I think that we are good but can do bad, realistic optimism. I don't have a whole lot figured out. But I think that's good, right? I think it's first of all kind of boring to have figured everything out at 15. But it's also very unrealistic and kind of limiting to believe that. It takes away a lot of capacity to explore mystery, something I believe is necessary and beautiful. But these are some of my beliefs as of now, and I hope they can develop and change as I as a person develop and change. Thank you.
I never really thought about my religion until the beginning of this year. Not long ago, I remember exploring the different religions at the UU. For example, Buddhism, Judaism, and evangelicalism. The problem is, I loved all of them. Growing up, my mom never enforced a certain religion on me, and I'm grateful for that because it gave me the freedom to explore different beliefs and form my own opinions. Over the years, I've been exposed to many religions and ways of thinking, which has shaped who I am today. When I lived in Milton, I often attended synagogue with my family and friends. I enjoyed the teachings of the Torah and the sense of community, but I never really thought of myself as Jewish. A while ago, one of my closest friends invited me to a Buddhist temple. Buddhism taught me the importance of mindfulness and taking time to reflect on my own thoughts and actions. These experiences taught me that wisdom can be found in many places. While different religions have different beliefs, many share common values like tradition, respect, family, and good service to others. The problem is, I believe in these shared values, but I don't necessarily know exactly the religion I align with. Throughout my religious journey, I could never confidently say that I have a confirmed religion, but I know for a fact that I have core values. One of my strongest is equity. I believe everyone should have what they need to succeed. I strive to maintain these values of equity by helping others at daycare facilities like Belmont Recreation and Basic Summer Camp. Another belief of mine is respect. Regardless of their religion, background, or culture, I believe everyone should be treated with respect. The diversity of people that I've met has shown me that everyone has a unique story and perspective. I've learned since the beginning of the year, first impressions always matter. Or since the beginning, first impressions always matter. And I try to make good first impressions everywhere I go. I believe in curiosity. I'm always curious to try new things and experiences. I believe that growth comes from curiosity and asking questions. Rather than exploring surface-level answers to deep questions, I believe that curiosity happens when you look deep into topics you have little knowledge about. I want to continue exploring different cultures, places, and ways of understanding the world. Curiosity allows me to be more empathetic and informed. Although I'm still discovering what I believe about religion, I'm certain about my values that guide me throughout life. I believe in equity, respect, curiosity, and lifelong learning. These key principles shape the decisions and influence how I treat others. While my journey of faith is still unfolding, I believe that living my life according to my personal values is what matters the most. Thank you.
This is the time in our service when we collect an offering to support the organizations in our community who are carrying out the work of our values in our wider world. This morning's offering and the whole month of June is shared with Belmont Against Racism. Belmont Against Racism is a community action grassroots organization which aims to build an inclusive, inviting community in Belmont based on dignity and mutual respect. As UUs, we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person and commit ourselves to opposing injustice wherever it may occur. We are glad to support the work of this good organization. This morning's offering will now be gratefully given and received.
This school of late has started reeking. Quiet, maggots, when I'm speaking. Reeking with a most disturbing scent. Only the finest nostrils smell it, but I know it oh too well. It is the odor of rebellion, it is the bouquet of dissent, and you may bet your britches this headmistress finds this foul odoriferousness wholly olfactorily insulting. And so to stop the stench's spread, I find a session of phys ed. Sorts the merely rank from the revolting. The smell of rebellion comes out in the sweat, and phys ed will get you sweating, and it won't be long before I smell the pall of aiding and abetting. Before a weed becomes too big and greed, you really need to nip it in the bud. Before the worms start to turn, you must scrape off the dirt and rip it from the mud. The whiff of insurgents, the stench of intent, the reek of prepubescent protest, the thong of defiance, the odor of coup, the waft of anarchy in progress. Once we've exorcised these demons, they shall be too pooped for scheming. Some double-time discipline should stop the rot from setting in. Discipline for children who aren't listening, for midgets who are fidgeting and whispering in history. They're chattering and chittering, they're nattering and twittering is tempered with this smattering of discipline. We must begin insisting on rigidity and discipline, persistently resisting this anarchistic mischieving. These minutes you are frittering on pandering and pitting. When little ones like this, they just need discipline. The simpering and whimpering, the dribbling and spittling, the miss I need a tissue is an issue we can fix. There is no mystery to mastering the art of classroom mistressing. It's discipline, 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 the smell of rebellion, the stench of revolt, the reek of prepubescent plotting, the whiff of resistance, the fog of dissent, the funk of moral fiber rotting. Imagine a world with no children. Close your eyes and just dream. Imagine, go on, try it. The peace and the quiet, a burbling stream.
unreal. So good. Community. This is the part of our service where we share those things that we are bringing here with one another. This is our ritual of joys and concerns. If there is a milestone in your life that you want help in celebrating, this is the time to share it. If there is a sorrow that you are carrying that is too heavy for you to carry alone, this is the time to offer your community to help you carry it. We invite you to come forward if you'd like. Use this microphone and tell us your name, and be short. Thank you. And light a candle in this sand to share your joys and sorrows with us. Children and young folks, you are also invited to do this ritual if you would like. Thank you. All right. I will invite you into a spirit of prayer or meditation, and I will invite Eloise to give us a prayer.
As we gaze at these candles, we realize how much they symbolize us as a community, the hopes, the dreams, the sorrows, and the expectation that we as a community will reach out and support one another in celebration of all of these things. And so I invite you all, in a spirit of prayer, to breathe in the spirit of life and love that surrounds all of us and is within us. And as we gaze at these candles, we absorb the light and bring it into us so that we may continue to develop as a community, to understand that this is our community prayer, and that we shall be stronger and more supportive than ever. Amen.
Thank you. We invite you to rise as you are comfortable this morning to sing 1064 Blue Boat Home in your teal hymnal, 1064 Blue Boat Home.
Oh, we know I feel Growing up, I was not raised with a strong religious identity. My parents were raised somewhat Hindu, but religion was never a major part of my life. Because of that, I never really focused on it, kind of like out of sight, out of mind. As I've gotten older, I've begun to see religion as something very interesting, not because I'm trying to find the right one, but because I want to understand why people believe what they do. Religion has shaped cultures, communities, and individual lives for thousands of years. I find it fascinating that different religions often answer the same questions about meaning, morality, and purpose in different ways. Recently, I have learned about the idea of omnism, the view that one can learn from many religious traditions. While I do not currently identify with any religion, I appreciate ideas from many of them. I admire Buddhism's focus on mindfulness, Christianity's emphasis on love and forgiveness, Hinduism's ideas about the self and the universe, and the many teachings found across many faiths. While I have not found a religion that I personally believe in, I have come to value the search for understanding itself. I believe that curiosity is important and that asking questions can be just as meaningful as finding answers. I believe that the search for an answer is human nature, that everyone can find their own beauty in it, and that my journey through it will be ever evolving.
Hello everyone, my name is Nico, as you probably know. For this past year, we've been trying to figure out our beliefs. For me, I was raised in this church, so growing up I was never told what to believe. The closest I've ever been told to believe one thing was when my mother made me and my sibling recite the 7 UU principles every night before dinner. And no, I never actually learned all of them. However, because of how I wasn't told what to believe, I struggled even coming up with an idea of my beliefs. One thing that helped me start to think about my beliefs was the song Rise by Alexander Rybak. One of the lines is, "You will rise up because you believe. Rise up for the world to see. You will walk with pride to paradise. You will rise, rise, rise. You will rise." While listening to this song, I often found myself wondering about this line. Will I only rise if I believe? What am I even believing in? God? Something else? Is the place I would rise to paradise? Some other sort of heaven? I generally find it hard to believe in a heaven or life after death, so then where am I rising to? And back to the question of what I'm believing in. I would like to believe in a God, but I find it hard to. So if I'm not believing in God or paradise, then what exactly do these lines mean? But over the year, as we explored what we believed in, I started thinking that maybe I don't need to find a deeper meaning to this. The line certainly helps me start thinking about what I believe, but I realized that I don't need to look for my beliefs in everything I listen to. As we kept looking at what we believed or could end up believing, I realized that if I'm to find my beliefs, it doesn't need to be from set questions. Over time, I expect my beliefs to change, but one thing that I'm sure won't change is that no matter what I'm doing, I know that I need to believe in it. Whether I'm rowing, taking a test, or doing just about anything, I need to believe that I will rise. To me, that's the meaning that these lyrics now take. It's not about who I'm believing in or where I'm going. It's about believing that I will rise. I will rise not because I believe that someone or something else will help me, but because I believe in myself to do it.
There is a moment in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 9, verse 24, that I think is extremely interesting. A father brings his sick child to Jesus and asks if anything can be done. Jesus says, essentially, anything is possible for those who believe. And the father, this desperate, exhausted, and very human father, blurts out something that I think is one of the most honest sentences in the entire Bible. I believe, help my unbelief. I love that. I really, genuinely love that. Because here is a man standing in front of Jesus himself, the Son of God, according to most traditions, some traditions, and this man cannot even manage a clean, confident, uncomplicated yes. He believes and he doesn't believe. Both things at the same time, out loud, in public. And you know what? Jesus doesn't say, come back when you've sorted yourself out. He doesn't say, I only work with the fully convinced. He helps the child. And that verse is basically my entire spiritual view in 8 words. I have been asked as part of this coming of age program to share my credo, what I believe. And I want to be honest with you today, the way that father was honest, because I think honesty is where real faith actually starts. And I was not always comfortable saying that out loud, the doubt part, I mean. There was a time in my life when I thought doubt was a kind of failure, like a leak in a boat. If you had enough of it, you would eventually sink. I grew up with some traditional influences, and while church gave me many beautiful things, a sense of mystery, a love of ritual, and a bone-deep feeling that the sacred is real and close, it did not always leave a lot of room for sitting with questions. You believed, or you worked harder until you did. So for a long time, I did what a lot of people do. You keep the doubt quiet, carried it around like something embarrassing, tucked it away, hoping nobody would notice. And then something happened. Or rather, a lot of small things happened over a lot of years. I started to notice that my doubt was not making my faith smaller. It was making it more honest. Every time I stopped pretending I had it all figured out, something inside me relaxed. Something real started to grow where the performance used to be. I think of it a little like this. If you never ask hard questions about someone you love, you never really know them. You just know the version of them you have constructed in your head. Doubt, real doubt, is what pushes us past the easy version of things towards something truer. It is uncomfortable, yes, but so is growing. And I have never once met a person whose faith I deeply admired who hadn't wrestled hard with it first. Doubt does not sink your boat. It turned out to be what kept me steering honestly. Here is something I carried out of my Christian inheritance that I am genuinely grateful for: the concept of grace. Grace, in the theological sense, is this radical idea that we are loved and accepted not because we've earned it, not because we got our beliefs perfectly right, because we never doubted, not because we showed up to every service and never said the wrong thing, but simply because we exist. Grace is love that arrives before you deserve it, which, if you think about it, is the only kind of love that actually counts as unconditional. I believe in grace, and I believe in it deeply. Here's what I find so beautiful about being a Unitarian Universalist. Our first principle says essentially the same thing in different languages. We affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Not earned worth, not conditional worth, inherent worth. Worth that is baked in, present at birth, not revocable based on your theology or your beliefs. Christians call it grace, UUs call it inherent worth. I think that they are two traditions reaching across centuries, arriving at the same astonishing, desperately needed idea, that you are loved not because of what you do, but because of who you are. I find that I need to hear that regularly. I suspect most of us do. Another thing I didn't think I would hold very closely, but I do, is community. Not community as a nice add-on, but community as something close to sacred. The word in the Catholic tradition is communion, the idea that being together, breaking bread together, showing up for each other across difference and disagreement and time in itself is a spiritual act. It is not just nice to have people around you, but it is part of how we become who we are supposed to be. Unitarian Universalism taught me to say it a different way. We make promises not to a creed, not to a set of required beliefs, but to each other. To keep showing up, keep listening, and to keep treating the person across from us as someone who carries inherent worth, even when that is very hard. I believe in that covenant. I believe that it is one of the most serious and sacred things a person can enter into. And I believe, maybe this is the thing I believe most of all, that we are all, in a way, sharpened by each other. That your doubt helps clarify my faith. That my questions might make space for yours. And the whole point of gathering like this, year after year, in communities like this one, is not to arrive at the same answer. It is to keep asking, together, in good faith. So here, as plainly as I can say it, is what I believe. I believe doubt is not a failure. It is a form of respect for the size of questions, for the mystery that does not resolve neatly, and for the God or universe or whatever you want to call it that is larger than any of our explanations. I believe in grace, that I am loved before I earn it, that you are loved before you earn it, and no amount of wrong belief can reach down to the level where that love lies and extinguish it. I believe in inherent worth, that every person I will pass on the street is carrying something precious, and that how I treat them is a moral and spiritual matter, not just a social one. I believe in community, that showing up for each other is not optional, it's not an extra credit assignment, but it's the actual work. And I believe in honesty. I believe in saying, I believe, help my unbelief, instead of performing a certainty I do not have. In trusting that the real thing, whatever the real thing is, can handle my questions. I'm standing at the beginning of something. This class, this community, this life of trying to figure out what I think and who I am and what I owe to the people around me. I do not have it figured out, and I'm not sure I am supposed to yet. But here I am, and I am asking. And apparently, like that father in the Gospel of Mark is any indication, that is enough to start. Thank you.
You did it. Congratulations, coming of age kids. You did it. That was remarkable. Thank you so much. We are so proud of you. Thank you for trusting us with these pieces of your truth. Thank you for teaching us about the scripture of ultimate frisbee, about respect and curiosity and equity, about ominism and the search for meaning, about the importance of believing in yourself, and about grace and doubt, that we are all loved beyond belief, beyond disbelief. Thank you for these gifts of your wisdom. To mark your completion of this program, we have a little gift for you. So mentors, will you come up, and Dan and Stefan? And if you will stand right along here, please. So youth, in a moment, I will invite you to come up and receive a gift from your mentor or a representative from your mentor. We are so excited that you are coming of age. We are so excited for the people that you already are and the people that you are becoming. We remind you that this is not the first nor last time that you will come of age. We are all coming of age all the time. We are grateful to be growing into the selves that we are and new parts of our life, and we are lucky to have this community to journey alongside. So much of your story is yet unwritten, and you get to be the ones who write it. So if you will come forward and find your mentor and accept this gift. And congregation, if you will give them a little bit of love. Excellent work. Thank you. All right, and if you will rise in body or rise in spirit to sing our closing hymn in your teal hymnal 1028, Fire of Commitment. 1028, Fire of Commitment.
When the fire of the extinguish this flame, but not the truth of light, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. These we carry into the world as our blessing, as our gift.